Wase Chingus, it's your girl Kathleen, aka Cassidine, aka Sodine, and we are back with another episode of Sodine's Soapbox. Get into it, get into it. What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of Sodine's Soapbox. Here we talk about all things love, life, and the plot twist that comes with both. What's up, family? What's up? Thank you for tuning in to another episode. If you are a new listener, what's up? We love new people around here. Thank you for coming and checking out your girl and checking out my podcast. I really appreciate it. Just come on in, kick off your shoes, relax your feet, grab you something to drink, some water, some coffee, some tea. I am a matcha girly, so I'm going to always grab me some matcha, which I realize I haven't had matcha in a while. That needs to change, but I am a matcha girly myself. And if you are a returning listener, what's up, family? How you doing? How your mama and them? Thank you for coming back to another episode. I love you so much. I appreciate you coming back for yet again another episode. And child, we are going to jump right on in today. Before we jump into today's episode, let me just get all of the announcements out of the way. If you want to get more content about this podcast or you want to make sure you are up to date, make sure you're following all the socials, especially Instagram and TikTok. We are available on YouTube and on Facebook. That is Sodine's Soapbox. That is SORINS_SOAPBOX. And then if you didn't know, your girl has a Substack because she is currently in the process of working her way to be a sexologist. And so we have Sex in Context, which is my sexology business. And we have been dropping weekly Substacks every Friday. So make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. Right now it is free. So make sure you jump on that before I start charging. And yeah, make sure you check that out. And also check out the Instagram, which is Sex in Context. That's SEXINCONTEXT. All right, I just want to make sure I get all of those announcements out the way because, child, the way that I'm feeling today, I might forget. So now that all of that is out the way, let's jump into today's episode. Child, beat it. We are wrapping up Black History Month. And while I am Black, 365, 366 on a leap year, I'm tired, okay? First of all, January was long. February is also long, and your girl is exhausted. I am tired. Normally, the first start of the episode, we jump into Sodine's life update. I was originally going to say there hasn't really been a life update because I've just been working, but it's more than just the fact that I've been working, which I thank God, because I'm currently working as a substitute teacher, and usually that could be hit or miss. But child, the way I be working, I might as well be on staff at the school. And we thank God for the provision. But your girl I'm tired. I'm very much tired. And since January, I've been trying to navigate being an adult and trying to be disciplined and just do this content creation stuff. And if I'm being honest, it is a lot. It is definitely a lot because it's like I'm trying to map out my content creation days and when I can make sure like the Substacks go out, the podcast goes out, the Instagram posts go out. And then, because obviously I'm doing all of this by myself on top of just regular work. And I'm not saying that people don't do this, on their own, because I'm sure there are a lot of content creators who do this and still work the traditional 9-to-5 or whatever the case may be. I think because I do not work a traditional 9-to-5 and I never know when I'm going to work, that just kind of makes it hard for me. But I think now it's just kind of the idea that like, unless otherwise, I'm probably going to be working every day. That's just kind of honestly the sentiment that I'm getting. And I think I just need to wrap my mind around that. But yeah, it's just that. And then, trying to go to bed at a decent time because your girl is a night owl. I we'll be up till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'll get up at like 10, 11 a.m. Some people that's early, some people that's late, depending on who you talk to. So there's that. I've been trying to implement going to bed at least no later than midnight and getting up at 9, which is big for me because I am not a morning person, like at all. And 9 a.m. is if I'm not working. 9 a.m. is just regular day for me. Obviously, depending on when I have to go to work, that will fluctuate. But yeah, so it's like trying to implement that, trying to eat better, exercise daily, at least 3 to 4 times a week, and just all of that combined, I'm tired. I am tired adulting. Adulting is ghetto. Adulting is for the birds. I should have listened to the commercial where they said, I don't want to grow up. I want to be a Toys R Us kid. And I should have stayed a Toys R Us kid. Like, that should have been where I stayed. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why I wanted to be an adult, especially growing up. I lived in a strict household. I wanted to be an adult, so I had freedom. And yet now the freedom that I wanted, I'm not seeing it. And so baby, I am exhausted. I am tired. Just, yeah, day in and day out. And I understand this is just, again, part of being an adult and just trying to be disciplined and trying to be consistent with my schedules and maintaining everything. And I know at some point it'll get easy, but maybe I just want the easy part to get here already. On some lighter news, though, I discovered F1 during the weekends. My sister and I just be crashing on the couch, and we were just scrolling through Netflix. And because she's a literary agent and she'd be looking for like what's the trend, what's everybody's talking about, there's been a lot of like F1 romance novels and stories that have been coming out. And so she and I decided to check out the F1 documentary that's on Netflix. I'm hooked. Like, I get the hype. Behind F1. Yeah, we haven't gotten to like Lewis Hamilton, who's like, I think he's from the UK, black guy from the UK. The drivers we've seen so far, I'm like, oh, this is about to be good. So yeah, we were crashed on the couch and we were just watching some F1 stuff, and to the point that we were looking up when the F1 season starts and if we could try and go see one, because I'm not a NASCAR fan. Like, I know that there's like an all-black NASCAR team and this, that, and the third, but I'm sorry. NASCAR just gives very Wahite, just very, yeah. Anyone who has any melanin or color in them just not allowed, even in 2026. So it's just like, I don't know if I would feel comfortable going to a NASCAR race. But F1 though, I said, oh, like, and they were going to places I've always wanted to go. Monaco, Singapore. They had something in Australia, but I'm sorry, I refuse to step foot in Australia because I feel like even the air would kill me. Like, at this point, I feel like there's nothing safe in Australia. And so, but they were just traveling to all different countries, and I was like, yo, honestly, I could get into this. So yeah, I just was like, okay, I think I might be, that might be another rabbit hole. Because again, call me Alice. I'm going to find me a rabbit hole to jump into. I think F1 might definitely be something I go down. But yeah, I think other than that, as far as life updates, I have been back into therapy, and that has been mentally and emotionally exhausting. Yeah, I don't want to do it. I don't. I know this was something that God told me to get back into. And I get it, but I don't want to do this. Therapy has been, this second go round has been kicking my butt. It's actually been kicking my butt this time. The first time I thought it was like, already rough that I wanted to throw hands with my therapist. Love her to death, but I wanted to throw hands with her the first time. This time around though, her and my mentor, I want to throw hands with them both. Like, I understand the necessity of me going through this. It's just the emotional and mental gymnastics of it all and how draining I feel after the fact of just trying to just unpack a lot of things and I talked about this in my Substack a little bit, but I just kind of let time pass And now I'm having to go back and actually like sit through different situations that I went through. And I'm really good at intellectualizing my emotions and my feelings. I just have a hard time sitting in those emotions and letting it like kind of like wash over me and be like, okay, what are you feeling? Why are you feeling this? Okay, what's, all the things, which shout out to the people who do EMDR because I cannot imagine what that does. Like what type of toll, how draining that is. But I also understand obviously there's a necessity to EMDR. But baby, I don't think, at least not right now. I don't think I could do that. But yeah, I understand the necessity and maybe, someday I'll get to a place where like I can talk about what I'm discussing in therapy without feeling traumatized or triggered or having better language than I do right now about the situations and life. I know I'm speaking very vaguely, but that's with intentions. I'm just hoping that I get to a place that I can feel more confident about talking about what I'm going through. It's just right now it's a lot more painful than I'd like to admit. And I think that's the scary part about redoing therapy the second go round is like, oh, I thought it was cool. I thought I was over this, And in some ways, I can definitely say that I've grown a lot. A lot more careful with my words. I'm a lot more careful with my interaction with my friends and my family. And I definitely feel a lot more emotionally available than I used to, like in my 20s and in high school, and even maybe like parts of college. I definitely feel a lot more emotionally available and intelligent, but in other areas, I'm just like, yeah, I really don't want to talk about this. So, y'all just pray for me. Y'all just pray for me because therapy is just kicking my behind. And every time I leave a session, I just am like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I putting myself through this? I have a picture of like kid me at my desk, and I just keep looking at her and I'm like, it's for her. It's to heal her, it's to help her, it's to undo the trauma that like she never had to go through. Child, I didn't even mean to get this deep. I'm tired. And I'm already getting deep this early. And I'm sorry. I'm not sorry that I'm getting this deep, but I wasn't trying to get this deep this early. But I just keep looking at her and I'm like, okay, this is for her. This is for so she feels safe, so she feels loved, so she feels protected. You know what I mean? Like it's just been a journey in and of itself to go through, but I will say that like I'm thankful for my friends and I was gonna say my family, but more specifically my sister. I think I'm just thankful for to kind of walk with me in this journey. And I mean that's pretty much gonna be like the topic of this episode. I don't have much to say today because I'm tired. Like I didn't want to skip this episode, but I wanted to just at least talk about like what life has just looked like lately. And I'm just thankful for the friends that I have in my life, which funny enough was a sermon on Sunday, which I do talk about again. Shameless plug because I'm just going to drop it every time, but I will talk about in my Substack, but more specifically in relation to sex and context. But for me, I thought it was a really good sermon about friendships and godly friendships. And I think with me putting myself back through therapy and just unpacking a lot of traumas and pain, et cetera, I'm just really thankful for my friends who have just showed up in a way that I think makes this a little bit easier to process and a little bit easier to handle. Cause baby, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I probably wouldn't continue my sessions if I didn't have my friends and my sister to kind of like give me outside perspective because I realized I'm a lot harder on myself than I thought I was. I have so much grace, which I'm sure other people can relate. I have so much grace for other people. When other people talk harshly about themselves, I'm like, why would you talk about yourself like that? You know what I mean? But when it comes to me, I don't have that. And so it's hard to apply the same methods for myself that I would give for other people. And so I just appreciate having friends who are willing to turn the mirror on myself and be like, girl, why are you talking to yourself like that? You're better than that. Like, and so that was kind of like the message on Sunday was just about like finding godly friends and how friendships are like shoulder to shoulder because the idea is that like you walk through life together side by side. And if they're godly friendships, the idea is that like you're walking together in pursuit of Christ and helping each other grow and uplifting each other, being accountable to one another, calling out each other's faults with love, obviously, but just like all of the things. And sometimes I feel like, oh, I don't have a close-knit friendship like I used to have in college. Because college, I felt like, oh my God, like me and my friends, we used to get together all the time. Like we would pop up at each other's houses and hang out. We would do sleepovers. We would travel to different places and cities. And you know what I mean? It just was like so much fun. And then just as I got older and I moved away, I didn't realize how precious that was until I left. And I couldn't get that back, no matter like the friend groups that I would meet or the people that I would connect with. Like I just never was able to get that back. And one of the things the pastor talked about was like, obviously, like sometimes it's just about proximity and it's about having common ground, which makes sense. Like at that time, the common ground was like, we all went to the same church. We all lived in the same city. All of us went to the same college. And so it was a lot easier for all of us to connect based off of one of those three things, that it just was a natural flow to it. That like once, specifically me, like once I moved away and then everybody else started moving away, it just kind of became harder to find that commonality again, or that thread. And once some of my friends started getting married and having kids, then that kind of just created a distance between us, because I'm not married, I don't have kids. And so it's like, I don't have to deal with the same things that they do, so to speak, where it's like, oh, you know, you have a husband and you have kids. And so there's certain things that you have to check in before like you go out or you hang out or things like that. Whereas like I can come and go as I please. Like me taking the trip to Hawaii, like I didn't have to check in with anybody. Like it was me and my sister. We just left. We went there. And then before that, I went to California. There was no checking in with a spouse or children. None of that. It was like I was free to roam around the cabin without anything necessarily holding on to me. And not saying again that kids or children hold on to you in that way, but it just means that I just have a level of freedom that someone with kids and a spouse does not. And so I recognize like, okay, I'm in a different predicament than they are. And so I do have amazing friends that I can lean on and I can depend on. But I think like since moving to this new city, I'm like, I want friends. Like I still want friends that like we can go over to each other's house and kick it. Or there's so many food places here and I want to try them. I want to go to different restaurants. I want to shenan. You know what I mean? Like I want to shenan, and I'm not opposed to shenaning by myself. Korea definitely taught me that. Korea definitely taught me that I had no problem shenaning by myself, because when I started this podcast, I talked about, you know, I took myself out on dates. I took myself on picnics, and I traveled to different cities to explore like restaurants and cafes that I would see on like Instagram. And I think TikTok was just beginning to start. I took myself to a music festival by myself, and I had an amazing time. I got to see some of my favorite like K-pop artists, and I'll never forget that. Or, you know, taking myself to the museum by myself, or I went paragliding. I mean, not by myself, like I went with a friend, but that was something I would have never thought to do. And so I think in being bold enough to step outside of myself and just do things on my own, it allowed me to get to know myself and connect with other people and definitely make friends. None of those friends that I still have except for one, or maybe one or two. But yeah, I just realized like I'm not opposed to obviously like doing things solo, but I think for me, I want friends. That's all. And I think the older I get, the more important community and a village means to me. I don't necessarily want to wait till I'm married with kids to have that. Like I want to start developing that now, and then once I get into the different seasons of my life, they grow and they expand, you know, where I do have the friends where it's like, oh, I met them in my single season and we still connect in some way, because just because I'm married doesn't mean that like we can't hang out. Like obviously, yes, there's certain aspects again of hanging out that may not be the same, but it's like, if, hey girl, you want to go out for brunch? Yeah, let's do that. You know, I don't got to be up under my man all the time. there's the married friends that, because it's like, oh, I'm newly married and I want to hang out with other married friends and I want to learn from them and hang out with them and have fun with them. I want to have those types of friends. And then once I get into the season of having kids, again, just all of those things, I'm grateful that I have friends that are in different seasons. I think just particularly local. I think that's where I'm really trying to say, is that I don't have anybody local. My best friend lives about 2 hours from me and I miss her dearly. And it's just hard to connect regularly because it's like she lives about 2 hours away. And even though this is a lot closer than we've probably ever lived since college, it's still not like I could just like pop over her house if I wanted to. And, having 2 kids under 2, it's not the same. And I'm just like, I love her, and that's my homie. That's my sister. That's my girl for life. Like, I will throw hands for her, and she knows that. And then I just want local friends, though. I think that's just kind of where I'm at. But one of the things the pastor said that was really interesting, he was like, instead of like seeking out friends, so to speak, he's like, just pursue the things that you love and that you find interest in. And then in those spaces, start connecting with people, may end up finding out that like they're your people, or like they may be the connection to someone else who is your person, in terms of like of your community, which is true because it's like I've served at my church and I've done different groups. And so like I've been able to make like different pockets of like acquaintances, so to speak, but no one that I could really say is like, oh, that's my friend, so to speak. I think like in the 2 years or almost 2 years that I've been here, I think I've made like one friend, which I'm not saying like I need to have like a bunch of friends since then, but yeah, I don't know. I think the older you get, the more you realize just like how hard it is and how difficult it is to make friends. I mean, like true, genuine friends, not companions, not people that are just like, oh yeah, we get together solely to like go to the movies or solely to eat out, but like the friends that you can turn to when it's like, yo, I'm going through a hard time right now. Like, can you pray for me? Or I just, I'm in a bad funk right now. Can you just come over? Like, we don't got to talk. We don't got to like, let's just, veg out on the couch and, let's just couch rot and I don't know, watch true crime documentaries, whatever, or watch anime, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like those types of friendships. Again, I think being removed from my college town and the friends that I made during that time. Yeah, I guess I just didn't realize how precious it was and how like uncommon it is. Like obviously people make friends in college and things like that, but I think like I just didn't realize like this is something that doesn't carry into all areas of your life. I guess it's like they say, like you don't know what you have until it's gone. And so yeah, I just really miss having that friendship circle. Cause I mean, like I said, we used to do so much together. We would have these house parties and I would DJ and we were counting how many like house parties we had, or like we would play, like this is when the Wii was really popular. Like we would just come over and just play the Wii, or we would have, like after church, it was always like, okay, where are we going to eat? And just like I said, little things like that where stuff that like I enjoyed. And so not having that now, I'm just like, dang, like those were good times. Like those were just like really good times. But yeah, it's just something that I'm praying for. I know this season is just temporary and that I'll find the friends and then I'll come back and be like, you know what? This season was just supposed to be about me and just trying to figure all the things out. And the friends that I do have, regardless of them not living local, are still like my core people. They're still important to me. I just wish all the people that I love and care about just live close to me. So that way it's like, girl, you know what I mean? I just got off work. Can I come over? Because again, that's just something that would happen all the time, is that I would come home and one of my friends would text me and be like, oh, I just got off work. Are you home? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, okay, I'm coming over. And then that was it. Like no questions asked. I just miss that. And I didn't have to worry about cleaning up my apartment or cleaning up my house because you've been here before. I don't got to worry about like bringing you something to drink and presenting you snacks and stuff like that. It's like, girl, you've been here long enough. You know where the cups are. You know where the fridge is. Help yourself. Like, I'm not serving you. I'm not doing all that. That's the, you know what I mean? That's the type of thing the type of friendship that I want right now. But again, I know those are friendships that are built over time and they grow. And so, yeah, just have to be patient with that. But other than that, I mean, I just have to trust God that with being in this new city, that all of those things will come into place. I just don't want to be one of those girls who, like, when my husband comes around, I'm just constantly up under him because I don't have friends. That's honestly like something else. I'm just like, I don't like, I get it, you know, my man, which will be me, and my friends. I love my friends. I'm someone who will always care about her friends, and my friends are my sisters. My friends are, I'm not opposed to male friends, but because I used to have a lot of male friends back in college as well. Male friends were my brothers, you know, my sisters. I think more in this season, I want more, you know, women friends than anything. But I'm like, I'm a girl's girl. I love my friends. I love quality time with my friends. I love kikiing. I love laughing. I love having good food with my friends. Just, yeah, all the things. Obviously, as you can gather, I just really want friends because I just think that trying to enjoy life without them, I mean, you can. I know a lot of people who say that, like, they don't think they need friends, they don't think they need anybody. I disagree with that sentiment. I think we all need at least one friend. But I know there are a lot of people who have been burned by previous friends in the past and therefore don't feel like they need one. But as for me in my house, child, like I said, as someone who loves to shenan, and shenan doesn't have to be outside. Like, we can shenan inside in some comfies, like I said, with a documentary or some anime or a movie on the TV with some snacks and some food, and we just having ourselves a good time. Like, it don't take much for me to have a good time. And so that's my prayer for 2026, is that by the end of the year I can at least have 1 to 2 good friends. And it's my prayer, like, since I've moved out here, it's been my prayer that, like, I make some friends in a way that it's like, okay, I came out here for whatever reasons that God has set me out here, and I was able to build my community. I was able to find my friends, was able to find my husband. I was able to lay down roots, because anybody who knows me, I have not settled in a single place for long enough. I think Jersey and Virginia were probably the 2 longest places I've ever lived in. Jersey obviously being my home state, and I spent most of my childhood there. And then Virginia was where I went to college, and I was there for like 10 years. And so I think outside of those 2, I have never stood still. And even in Virginia, like, I moved around a lot. Yeah, I'm someone that has moved around, that I'm like, I feel like this is me finally settling down and putting down roots. So I'm like, okay, where are my friends? Where's my husband? I don't know about a house though. That's the only thing. I'm still debating about a house. My parents, obviously being immigrants, believe that having a house is the American dream. I don't know. I like the idea of, if something goes wrong in my apartment, I just call the maintenance people and they fix it, and it ain't got nothing to do with me. I just love that freedom. But I will say I have a very interesting upstairs neighbor. They vacuum twice a day, every day, every single day, Monday through Sunday. And not only that, they're heavy footed. Like, I mean, it feels like, I'm gonna be nice, but they're heavy footed. I'm just like, and the thing is, the last person who lived us upstairs was also heavy footed, and they had heavy footed children that ran amok throughout the apartment. I realize just living in this apartment in general, I'm deviating, but it's fine. I realize in this apartment, I get overstimulated very easily, because if it's not the upstairs neighbors, we have a breezeway. We don't have an actual hallway. You can hear everything. You can hear the Amazon delivery guy going through with his cart. And certain Amazon delivery guys, we have them there, like, phone playing music and loud through the hallway. You can hear the elevator going, dinging all the time. There's 2 buildings. One of the buildings, the fire alarm has been going off every single day, if not every other day. Our building is right next to the pool. The pool is about to open up. So now that is something else we're going to have to deal with I was gonna say just on the weekends, but because we are landlocked and there's no like body of water in terms of like a beach, people here actually use the pool, and that is surprising to somebody like me who's grown up near a beach. And so to see people flock by pools in droves is like foreign to me, because even when I lived in townhouses and apartments that had pools, first of all, my parents were very adamant that we were never going to use said pools, but we just always went to the beach if we were, or like me being from South Jersey, we just went to the boardwalk. So I have never actually, like, unless I was going to a friend's house, I've never actually seen the pools at my apartments being used outside of like my kids. But in this particular apartment complex, grown adults be out there in the pool, and I'd be like, oh, okay. I mean, I get it, like it's part of your amenities, but it's just the way that people be out there. I'm like, mind you, this is my tangent, and then I'm gonna wrap this up for real. They don't cover the pool here. They don't cover the pool, and so the leaves be falling into the pool. They clean it for the most part, but there's still debris at the bottom of the pool. And then the little lawn chairs that be around the pool, they've been rained on, they've been snowed on, they've been hailed on, they've been whatever Mother Nature has decided to do to them, they've experienced. And I have not once, since living in this apartment complex in the past 2 years, seen them take the cushions and wash them. And I mean, not take a hose down, but like actually wash them. So then I am seeing people go out there and lay their bodies to tan. And I'm like, oh, y'all are salop for real. I've said salop before. I'm not gonna explain what salop means, but I'm gonna let y'all use context clues. But I'm like, oh, y'all are salop for real, because what do you mean you're laying your body on that lawn chair to get a tan? I'm disgusted. And every time my sister and I have tried to be like, oh, maybe we should go down there to socialize, I'm like, I'm actually grossed by the whole ordeal, and I'm good. I'm actually good on all that. So yeah, not to mention, yeah, it's just it seems, you know, one of my vocal stems, if you've ever seen the movie Tarzan, is like, it looks questionable to me. It looks, you know, are you sure the water's sanitary? It looks questionable to me. And so yeah, between the pool, between the hallway, between my upstairs neighbor, the doors are heavy, and so they slam on their own. I'm just overstimulated, but I don't think that means I want to get into a house. I think I'm just ready for townhouse life. We used to live in a townhouse, and I couldn't hear my neighbors, like, unless they were like in front, like on the outside in the front. I could rarely hear my neighbors outside of like the landscape people who will come and mow the lawns. I am like, okay, so I think I might be over apartment life. I think I could be down with a townhouse. Yeah, I think I could get down with a townhouse, or I would need to do like one of those apartments where it's like 2 apartments at the top and 2 at the bottom, and there's no one like above you. Because yeah, this type of setup, I can't do anymore. Like, when I say overstimulated, I am overstimulated, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for a house. And to be honest, at my age, I don't even think I can afford a house, which most people who are millennials who are my age probably, you know, the reality is we can't afford a house in this market, in this economy, in this time. So there's that. One, if I actually qualify for a house, I will be shocked. My flabbers will be gassed, because I'm like, oh, me? I can afford a house? That's crazy. The only way I could be able to afford a house is if my parents leave me the house that they bought. And even then I would be scared, because that means I have to take over the mortgage. And I just don't know if I'm that type of responsible adult to do that. So there's that. Also, I don't know if I want to live in Florida. And then and I don't want to pay for all of if something breaks, that's on you. Again, I really like the convenience of, hey, my dishwasher's broken. Could somebody come and fix it? Cool, put in a work order. It be that set. The idea of the dishwasher breaking down in my house and then I gotta call a plumber and then I gotta pay for said plumber, it doesn't sit with my spirit. So I'm like, maybe a townhouse is where I can find me a happy medium, or renting a house, because I know like there's a lot of houses for rent here, but I think I just would need to know for sure that the owner of the house is on top of, hey, I have a problem with this, you get it sorted out immediately, like there's not a delay type of thing. But yeah, anyways, I'm not about to rant about that, but I don't apartment life is really giving the ghetto half a star, and we live in a very nice apartment, and it's just crazy that at the price we pay, it's just a lot going on. But needless to say, I made all this to just talk about the fact that I really just want friends. And I want friends to, vent about that stuff too and talk about that stuff too. Or like somebody else's house to go to and maybe get respite from, my thumping neighbor upstairs, fee-fi-fo thumping all over the place. But I digress. Anyways, with that being said, I'm going to wrap up today's episode. Thank y'all for just listening to me rant, because sometimes I just need a little space to vent. And I appreciate y'all for listening to me vent sometimes, because, I just be needing to get it off my chest. This will probably come out on the last day of Black History Month. Again, happy Black History Month to everybody and their mama. We blackity black 365 though, so it doesn't matter. But I hope you guys have a great week, a great weekend. As always, I'd love to hear how you guys are doing. How was your past 2 weeks? How are you feeling? How are you feeling about the friendship topic? Because again, I feel like that's something that we could all relate to. We either have held on to friends that we have had since the 3rd grade, and that could be either a really good thing, because that means like as the seasons have changed, you guys have changed together, and there has been growth, even if it's been you had to grow apart and then come back together, or that just means that you have just stayed the same since the 3rd grade. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but that's not really for me to diagnose. But yeah, do you have friends that you've been friends with since high school or 3rd grade? Or are you like me and it's like as you've gotten older, you recognize the importance of friendship? And again, I'm not talking about having an entourage, a whole crew, but like 2 or 3. Like, yeah, Jesus had Peter, James, and John as his close 3, right? So it's like, do you have your close 2 to 3 friends that like you confide in, that you talk to, that you trust with your innermost secrets and things like that? So yeah, just curious what your thoughts are on friends. How's life been treating you? How's these past 2 weeks? Did you have a good Black History Month? Was it mid? Was it bad? I know there's been a lot of stuff going on in social media. Honestly, I have been limiting my social media time, so I don't really know half the time what's going on. Not because I don't want to know, it's just because I just can't let that seep into my mind in a way that I just start doomsday scrolling. So, but yeah, just let me know to hear your thoughts on today's episode. Again, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you check me out on all the socials once again, whether it be Soda and Soapbox on Instagram and YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, or if it's my sexology socials, which is going to be on Instagram for now, and my Substack that comes out. This will come out Friday, so before this podcast, but I also will make sure the podcast is available on the Substack. So whether you're subscribed on one side or the other, you will get this podcast. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So until next time, your girl is off her soapbox. See ya.